Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video, I will be making or explaining the tier list on MANT and how to play it efficiently. Now, MANT, I can tell, for a lot of players is overwhelming to say the least, having to race at least 30 times. I'll get into that much later into the video, but do not worry. The only reason why most people would struggle on this scenario is because they have either A, not efficient cards, or B, their decision making is pretty poor. Now, I'm gonna be going to the tier list section here. Also, editing Banana Monkey here, there are gonna be some sections where they are just blank black screens of me explaining some things I did not explain while in the editing of this video. Please excuse me. This is like my second video I'm making here, so I'm a bit of an amateur when it comes to organizing myself and trying to make these more thorough as possible. So with these sections, you'll just get the explanation, but apart from that, bye-bye y'all. I hope y'all enjoy watching the video. Real quick, the way I selected these as they are is if they have 2 or more A sparks. The 3 that you want at least 2 of are what I'm going to list here. You want mile, medium, or long. 3 of those you want to at least have 2 of. And alright, so first black screen moment here in the editing. When talking about the distances, it is also fine to have a P rank in the distance itself. It's just, it depends on how comfortable you are when it comes to using clocks. Because if you're fine and you have like 100 something clocks and you are fine with using them in case you do mess up on the early part or a necessary race in a epithet, then sometimes you will have to use them. But generally, getting an A rank is the best. That way you have the less of a chance of using clocks and other things to make sure that you get the epithet that you were going for. And is the reason why I put the umas where they are right now. The ones up top here are ones that either have A in medium, mile, or long, and have 2 of them, so they won't struggle. The ones on the bottom here need a little bit of help with mile. Generally want to have mile at A because there's a lot of early mile races on MANT that will help you get to the goal requirement. Apart from that, the ones below here either have a bad affinity with mile races or they need a medium amount of help with that. Now, on to the rivals section. The rivals here, in this scenario, will generally appear always in G1s, but they can occasionally appear in G2 and G3s. Now, also, I'm going to add this on to the second part of the rival system. If you do beat a rival, there is a set chance of having an item 1 through 5 appearing in the shop during a G1. But also a small occasion on G2 and G3s. Also, there's a small chance that you will get a skill for the distance and or style that you used. So if you're trying to go for an encloser skill, but you have to use pace chasing because you don't feel like you're comfortable with it, you're going to probably miss out on a good skill for encloser or whatever you're going for. Apart from that, it's going to be the end of this other black section. The ones that you really want to look out for are the ones up top here. The reason being is because either they have a good skill, or B, they're generally just jacked. It's more of the skill though. The reason being is because some of these, like these ones here, have acceleration skills, which if you're running it skillless, are going to be the bane of your existence. Apart from that, other ones here are like dirt ones. If you're running on a B dirt or something like that, let's say like you're running on a Guri cap, but you don't have a B or A in dirt, it's going to be a little bit difficult when it comes to running dirt G1s. But apart from that, The other ones down here, you should be slightly or not worried at all. Generally, down here, end closers are on the should not be worried unless it is a long race. Then maybe you should be slightly worried. Like Admire Vega, she has sometimes gone in my runs and blocked me from getting a G1 win and resulted in me having to use a clock. But apart from that, we're going to go straight into the items itself. The way I categorize this is must-buy items, good investment slash training, okay training slash no other option, or good investment, I guess, as well. Okay if you have money to spare or save. But apart from that, anything below here is either avoid or early game. I'm going to start with these two items here first. These two you want to get on the beginning of your run. The reason being is because getting your affinities as fast as possible is generally the #1 rule of thumb when playing umamusume. So if you get these or you get charming early, then these two items will be generally good early game, but I would not recommend getting them mirrored. I would more focus on the carrots themselves. The notepads here are not worth it. They're not worth your money. Do not get these. So are the fan sticks or the light glow sticks, as well as the canned cat food and the other items down here, especially the max energy drink over here. Now, on the okay, if you have money to spare section, these are the listed trainings that you can obtain these and upgrade the facility once. I wouldn't generally target these unless you have a UMA card that is in the specific category and they're at like a level 1 facility. Then maybe I would consider it, but generally if you have the money or not. Apart from that, these ones you can get more towards the end of your run here. These ones are fine. They're 5 more than the notepads, but they give 4 more in stats, so which is why they're in the okay if you have money to spare. The megaphone here, you generally just don't want to buy this one compared to the other two. It has less value because of how long it lasts. You're not going to be running or training 4 turns in a row generally some of the time, so this brings no value. Apart from that, the small energy can be used if you know how to use it properly, which is by using it to avoid the training drain in this scenario. This scenario drains 20 energy more than the usual 15. So I would recommend only buying like one of these. And if you run out of energy and you don't have any energy restoration items, you could use this to avoid getting punished for running a G1 race with no energy. Apart from that, the rest of these are just status effect erasers, so don't get them. Apart from that, good investment slash no other options are the scrolls and the Practice Perfect book. If you already have Practice Perfect, then just avoid buying this in general. But if you don't have it and you have the spare money, I'd recommend you get this a bit early into the race or into the career itself. Apart from that, don't buy this late game. It's not really going to be that worth it. And these, depending on what you're building, you kind of want to focus on the one that you're training up the most. Of course, speed takes priority, power, stam, and then wit. Guts is only there if you're guts maxing. Good investment slash training items here are the juice, the learner's cap, the cupcakes, and the 40% and 20% cleat and microphone. The only caveat I would say for the juice here is make sure you have a cupcake with it, unless you're willing to take the down in mood for the exchange in a full bar of energy. Apart from that, the learner's cap is a really good item late game. The reason why I say late game is because if you get this early, I would not recommend you buy it unless you have to spare money and you know there's not going to be any good items in the shop, or unless it's discounted at a 20%. Unless it is at a discounted price, I would not recommend getting the learner's cap at all early into the run. Now, must-buy items here are going to be the energy increasers, Skin Outbreak Cream, as well as the Miracle Juice. That thing gets rid of all affinities, or not affinities, but gets rid of all down status effects or bad status effects. So having generally just one of each of these is really good. The whistle here is also really good. It is cheap, as well as rerolls your trainings around to make sure that if you get screwed over at summer, you can use this and then hope that your Kitasan Black goes into speed and not go into wit. I have not recalled so many times where I've seen Kitasan in wit instead of speed. This thing is a lifesaver. Apart from that, the 60 microphone is self-explanatory. You want to have at least 2 of these for summer. That way you can get a massive boost. The same thing with the ankle training things here. I would say generally just buy 2 of these and then bug off from beyond that. The Good Luck Charm is also really good here. It makes it to where you do not fail on a training, but I would recommend using it on a training that you have a 50% more chance of losing it. The reason being is because it still drains stamina if you are doing a stamina draining or energy draining training. So unless you have the recovery items to nullify it, I would say generally save this more toward the latter end of your energy bar. The cleats, the golden cleats themselves, the thing I will say for these 2 items here, as if you can, buy 2 of these, and then pray to God you get at least a golden on the last one. There's going to be a guaranteed cleat for the climax at the end of the scenario, but you generally want to have 3 of these. That way you can use them all on the climax and have a massive increase in stats. But also, if you have spares, use them on G1s or yeah, just use them on G1s, and that's all. Now, we're going to be getting into the card section. I've listed these as must-use or high usage, good deck fillers / skill, decent deck fillers. I will bring that down. No other choice, and then, for the love of God, do not use them. The top 5 here are going to be Narita Top Road, Matakani Fuketiguru's Speed SSR, Nice Nature Wit, Fine Motion, and then a flex between these 3 here. If you have these 2 max limit breaked, then Kitasan is better as a flex spot for whichever you have. Like, let's say you want to run this for a long deck, then that would be a really good option. Apart from that, these are like probably the top 5 cards used on whale decks. Apart from Kitasan, she's also still viable in this scenario and will still be viable in the next. But apart from that, the Guts decks here are also going to be really good since they also have a good amount of racing bonus or a high amount of racing bonus. Now, good deck fillers, although some may have a low specialty priority, you're generally trying to go for 50% racing bonus, which these cards either have a good amount or you're going for a good skill. Shinko Windy, Agnes Tachyon, Marvelous Sunday, Matakani Fuketiguru's Wit, Ninosho's Flowers SR, Marvelous Sunday SSR free-to-play card, and Daiku Halos are all good deck fillers, depending on what you're going for or what you're lacking. Apart from that, these ones either have good specialty priority, a good racing or decent amount of race bonus, while also having a decent skill. Apart from that, decent deck fillers are like Sweep Toshos, Aishin Flashes, Riko Kashimoto if you have her at max limit break. The reason why I'm saying at max is because she has 10 racing bonus and she has the max amount of stats she can provide. She won't give as much because of the scenario link loss. So I have seen some whale decks use this, but all of them have been at max limit break.
Apart from that, the rest of these either have a decent amount of race bonus or a good amount of specialty priority or a decent skill. Apart from that, no other choices are the Riko Kashimoto R card, the SSR Tazuna, and the other ones over here. Anything beyond this section here, I would not use or only use as a stat filler. The reason being is because either these have low specialty priority, bad events, or just generally not useful compared to the other cards above. Now, as I said, some of these don't have good racing bonus, good specialty, whatever. You get the point. Now, I'm going to go back to the game itself here and explain what you kind of want to prioritize more towards the early part of the run here. I'm going to go to the agenda and also explain the scenario itself. At the beginning, you'll notice no goals. That means you could do whatever the hell you want as long as you make the requirement goal of 60 and then 300 for Classic and Senior. As long as you make those, you'll be fine. I will put on the top right here what are the requirements for the skill level boosts. There are requirements still for that, so you want to generally get to those requirements. More towards Classic and Senior Year, they're going to be really easy anyways, so you're not going to worry about that one that much. In the scenario itself, there's going to be a lot of events with various amount of effects and stat gains and skill hints. Generally, the ones I would look out for are either the ones that you already have in your skills tab and are gonna use, or good skills like Umastan on Agnes Digital's event. Those ones are going to be really valuable. I would recommend getting those skills as well.
Also, one thing I forgot to say, if a training has more than 40 in a stat, general rule is to take that training and instead of the race. The only caveats to this I will say is that unless it's a epithet where you'll generally get more stats, go ahead and take it. But apart from that, unless you're doing the Triple Crown and it's the Triple Crown race, I would generally just not take it. Also, last black segment for editing Banana Monkey here. Some epithets give random stats, by the way. So if you were going for the Triple Crown, which is the Satsuki Show, Japanese Derby, and then the Kiku Show, those give a random 10 in stats. There's going to be various random epithets that also give you 5 in stats, but it depends generally on what you do in your run. The general gist of what you would want to go for is like the Triple Crown or Triple Tiara, and then some random G1s all over the entire schedule. So try to fit as many as you can. Some optional ones are like the Queen Elizabeth G1. That one right there isn't really as valuable, so you can just run that as an extra G1 as well. But also do not be afraid to run 3 G1s back to back to back. You most likely would have the items and the time to recover anyways, unless it's the end of the year. Also, another thing to add on to the end of the year segment is that toward the end of the year, senior year, it does not account for back-to-back G1s. So let's say you were on a 3 G1 streak because you were running Oguri Cup, you ran the Japanese Cup, and then the mile or champions thing, whatever the hell it's called, and then you ran the Artemakinen. At the Artemakinen, it will not trigger a down mood event because the game thinks it's already at the end. May as well just skip towards it. But apart from that, that's going to be the last part from me here. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and thank you for watching. Apart from that, in the beginning of the year, you're gonna, or just in general for this entire scenario, you're gonna at least want to run 30 races. This can depend though. If you're starting to get used to the scenario, I would recommend trying to do at least 25. If you want to go lower than that, so that way you're more comfortable, it is possible to get a S rank Uma with just 23.
Apart from that, the events here, early February, there's going to be a mood up event with a random stat, either being wit or power. Early March here is a energy boosting event. This gives 20 energy, either stamina or guts, with it 10 at least for both of these. And then I'm pretty sure I can check here real quick. Let's see. And at late September, there's going to be a mood up event as well with a choice. No choice, by the way. It's all randomized in 10 power or 10 wit. And then the late senior year, during early, I think early or late June. It is late June, my bad. In late June, there's going to be a energy event that gives either 10 speed or 10 stamina with 20 energy. And then during early October, there's going to be another mood up event where it's going to give you 10 speed and or 10 wit, depending on which event you get. And then at the end of the year in late December, there's going to be one final energy event that gives 30 energy and 10 stamina or power. Generally, at the beginning of the year here, you want to prioritize getting your bonds up as much as possible. What I would consider a dead run is if you make it to early July and you don't have at least 2 of your bonds all the way up to max. If you do not have 2 out of the 6 of your deck maxed out, unless you have like Rico, then I would consider it a dead run and you might want to start over all over again. But if you want to keep going beyond that, then that's totally up to you. It just depends on what you're comfortable with and what you're trying to go for. But apart from that, I think that's going to be the end of the video here today. So I want to thank you guys all for watching this far into the video itself. Apart from that, I do stream on Twitch occasionally. I do have a Twitter, and I will list the events tab or whatever the hell you guys need in the link in the description for both an affinity tracker for said Uma, but also a parent finder for specific Umas that you may want to go for. But apart from that, that's going to be the end of today's video. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope your pulls also go well as well. I also hope that you get your Oshi, that some are coming soon. But apart from that, bye-bye!